Hi guys, how you doing? Welcome back. A very quick little video today regarding Bitcoin. As you know, anyone that follows me will know that I've done a couple of videos recently about all this hype about Bitcoin hitting 150k end of the quarter this year and then 300k early part of next year. There's a lot of talk about it from reliable sources, not just waffle, not just YouTubers, not just investors that are trying to put the price up. A genuine non-biased outlets are saying that it's going to do that. However, I've also seen conflicting reports that it's going to halve. Bitcoin's going to go down to 50 grand, 52 grand they reckon. They reckon that it's all to do with the key support. That the buy level at key support isn't, people are just going to flop and it's going to go down to 52 great. Sorry. Now, personally, like I said, this isn't investment advice, and don't all go out rushing or selling your Bitcoin because of me. I don't know, I'm just another YouTuber, but personally, I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, it's at 110k now, as we can see here, almost 111k. It went down to 105. There wasn't a massive fucking dip. It's sitting comfortably. Now, we know that when Bitcoin hits a high, especially an all-time high, afterwards you get a lot of people cashing out, which brings the price down. So there's nothing unusual about the price dropping after an all-time high. It hit 126 grand. Now, it's gone down to 110. It's dropped, but we know that happens. A lot of people cash out. Imagine if you bought Bitcoin when it was, 2 grand a coin, and now it's at 126 grand a coin. You think, oh, I'll cash out. Wait for it to go down and buy it back again. We know that the whales do that. It's nothing new. When Bitcoin reaches a high, especially an all-time high, afterwards the price plummets because a lot of people cash out. It's nothing new. It happens all the time. No reason to panic. A lot of people panic. Oh fuck, it's going down. It's going to be the end of the world. I think it's all scaremongering, to be honest with you. I don't think it's going to drop to 50 grand. There's too many investors that want to keep that price high. I mean, obviously, big investors, whales, can make a shed load of money if they sell however many millions of Bitcoin they've got, bring that price down, let the price drop, let the FOMO set in, let that price drop, and then buy it all back up. We all know how it works. But personally, I don't think that's going to happen. I think they've set a precedent. Obviously, if you drop the price like that, if the whales do drop the price like that, it doesn't do, although they're making their money back from dropping the price, in the bigger scheme of things, it's not doing them any favours, because people are going to think, the news will get out, it'll be all over the place, people will hear, oh, Bitcoin's dropped down to, it's half its price, it scares people away. It's in people's interest for it to be at a higher amount to keep people buying, to push the price up. So I don't think that's going to happen personally. I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, obviously it's up and down. You never know what's going to happen in the markets. But personally, I say it's not investment advice, but personally I don't think it's going to happen, because it's in everybody's interest for the price to stay up. When it hits an all-time high, everyone's talking about it. News channels that don't particularly, or are told not to talk about it because the banks own them or whatever, keep it stum. People talk about it, more hype comes about. Oh, it's hit an all-time high. It pushes the price up. More people think, oh, what's that? Oh, maybe I should invest in that. So it pushes the price up. So it's in everybody's interest to keep that price high. I don't think it's going to drop. I think that is just scaremongering. I don't know, but yeah, personally, I think it's okay. But like I said, it's not investment advice. Don't take my, if it fucking drops to 50 grand tomorrow, don't blame me. But personally, I don't think it will. I think it's sitting there. So it's 110 grand. It's dropped what, 15 grand, 16 grand. Sorry. That's normal. Like I said, a lot of people want to cash out. All the time, it's building. The more people are hearing about it, more people are thinking, well, actually, it's been around for a while. Maybe I should invest. So when it hits that all-time high, you get a shitload of people that sell, and then they wait for it to go down. They buy it all back. It's nothing new. We all know that. But yeah, just a quick little video, really, just from my 2 pence worth. I don't think that it's going to go down to 52 grand. I don't think it's going to half. Like I said, it's in everybody's interest to keep that momentum up, keep it high. And then more people are talking about it, and it just builds on it. They want more people to invest. If it drops to 52 grand, okay, you're going to get a lot of whales that make a fuckload of money overnight. But the overall bigger picture, it's more about keeping it up there, keeping the momentum going, keeping it fresh in people's heads. All Bitcoin. They don't want it to drop and give people that negative press. So Bitcoin's still relatively sort of, although it's more mainstream than it was when I started out years ago, it's still relatively kept sort of quiet. People don't, banks and stuff, they don't really want you talking about Bitcoin. They want you to invest with them. They don't really want you doing something that's decentralized that you can buy and sell and it's all, they want you to be piling your money into the banking system. So they try and suppress it and keep it low. And maybe it's them probably that's causing this rumour. I don't know. But personally, all the time it's building. The more it builds, the more people are getting involved, the more people are investing. And I can't see it happening. Like I said, don't take my word for it. But you never know what's going to happen. You never know what's around the corner. Same with trading. You never know what's going to happen. But personally, I don't think that's going to happen. Like I said, it always drops after a high, let alone an all-time high, and which it has done now, but it will creep back up. I'm sure it will. So don't panic, don't FOMO, don't worry. Just ride the storm, as they say. But yeah, there is a lot of rumours at the moment that it is going to drop to 50 grand, and maybe that's just counterbalancing the 150, 300 grand. I don't know, but personally, I wouldn't panic about it. I wouldn't worry about it. I'm not worried, I'll just ride it out. Like I said, it always dips after a high, but we'll see what happens. Like I said, I'm not a professional, and I'm going to look, but just it's in everybody's favour for Bitcoin to stay relatively high. Okay, drop 10 grand, gain 10 grand, whatever, but it's in everybody's favour for Bitcoin to be on everyone's lips talking about how good it is, because that keeps the momentum going, keeps people investing. If it drops to 50 grand, everyone's going to think, it'd be all over the news, Bitcoin's dropped by half, and people think, and it scares people off. They don't want that. They want people investing. So, and the whales know that. The whales aren't stupid, that's why they're the whales. That's why they own so much, because they're not stupid, and they know that. Obviously they'll drop the price, they'll manipulate it to make a few quid here and there, but they know they need to keep that momentum up. They need to keep it up. The higher that price goes, it's on the news. If it hits an all-time high, it's all over the news. Bitcoin's hitting, and everyone's, maybe I should invest. So the whales aren't stupid. I know they like to steal a few quid here and there, but they're not stupid. They need to keep that momentum up. So personally, don't worry about it. I think it's okay. I still think it's going to hit the 150 grand by the end of the year. I think, like I said, they play around with it, but not too massively, so drop it by 10 grand, it's still high, 110 grand, almost 111 grand, it's still high. But all it is, just a quick video just to say there's a lot of rumours, but personally I think it's okay. Anyway, I'll keep it short and sweet. Stay safe. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not subscribed. Keep a close eye on Bitcoin and what it's doing, and obviously keep an ear on the news and what's going on, an eye on the news. But personally, I don't think it's going to hit. I don't think it's in a half. I don't think that's just stupid. But you get a lot of scaremongering going on, and a lot of it, obviously, you get people, the investors and the whales that are pushing Bitcoin, and then you get the banks and everything that are not pushing it. People like Jordan Belfort and everything else, they're like, oh no, you don't want to invest in Bitcoin. It's not in their interest. It's not because they're looking out for you. It's because it's not in their interest. They're tied up in, whatever investments they've got are into Bitcoin. So you have to take. It's like everything else. You got to take the rough with the smooth. You've got the people that are. It's in their interest to push it to bring the price up, and then you've got the people that it's not in their interest, like the banks that don't. Push it down. So it's the same with everything else. You've got the pros and the cons. So But personally, I don't think it's going to drop, but keep a close eye on it. Anyway, just a quick little video regarding that, because I've got a lot of people asking me about it. Just keep your eye on it. I use CoinMarketCap. I look on them all the time just to keep an eye on what's going on. Obviously, I've got a lot of friends that have bought Bitcoin for an investment that aren't really that tuned in with it, and they're always asking me what's going on. They hear a rumor, oh Paul, what's going on, blah, 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 shall I sell, blah blah blah. So really, I suppose this video's out for the people like you. Just keep an eye on something like CoinMarketCap, keep an eye on what it's doing, but yeah, quick little video regarding Bitcoin. Don't panic. Anyway, stay safe, and I'll be back with you soon. Thank you.